Now, I will go see if I can find it. There, I told them to go find your new thing.
Oh, good. I sure hope
I'm going to go check
that we're here together. I sure do hope. Let me go here, our time. Let me go. Take two. Perfect. 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 Oh, I don't know. I have messed it up. Oh, God. Edit video, delete. Delete. I understand. Delete forever. Okay. I don't know.
You're good, sweetie.
What, hon?
You're good.
Oh, good. Okay, hopefully. Oh, no. Okay, I hope I'm here. Yes. Oh, thank goodness. That was so frustrating because I was here and ready to go. At 3:07, I clicked go live. Nothing happened. Oh my gosh, thank you for finding me. I'll give everybody a couple minutes to check back in. Thank you. It is so hard doing something like this, and when you're live, it adds a little extra bit of intrigue because when you tape something, you know if it's going to work beforehand. But when you come live, you never know. Did someone say no audio? No one? Somebody said they heard me. Okay. We're hoping everything is good.
Yep, your microphone looks good. Everything looks good.
All right. All right. I'm getting records of everything. Oh, good. Laura hears me. Excellent. Well, hello today. What a start. Thank you to Mark. And I love your comments. You know, go get our Sunday husband, Mark. Get him to fix it. Because I honestly, I couldn't do this without him. And I love this, doing this little show. I'm just in a little pond, but I love it dearly. I love each of you. You all make this work. So thank you. Oh, Joe will have to check back in. I'm sorry, guys. So what a week I have had. And now we're getting ready for a hurricane to come up the East Coast. It's come ashore. I think it's come ashore on South Carolina. We've got some rain started, and it's just very dark and gloomy. I have lived through quite a few. Oh, I'll tell Mark. Everybody says thank you, hon. And I have lived through quite a few hurricanes in my time, and luckily it has to cross a good bit of land before it gets to us, and that always weakens a hurricane. I've always lived, this is the farthest from the East Coast I've ever lived, so I feel a lot safer here. But anybody else in that way, I should check on Lisa, because she is in Georgia. So, but everybody just really be careful. Check the weather, all of that good stuff. So this week, I started out the week with my lithotripsy, and that is where I have a very large kidney stone that cannot pass naturally, and I only have one kidney left. So I went in to have this treatment, and you lay, it's really cool. If you ever need to have it done, don't fear. May have to have it done again because I am not passing a lot of pieces of kidney stone. But that you lay it on like an operating table, and it has a hole cut out right where your kidney would be. and where your kidney is. And then, Texas, oh my gosh, that is so sad. I mean, they had no warning, and it's really, really sad. But you lay on this table, they have a cutout, and then there's this thing, and what it does is it hits you with some kind of shock wave, and they say it feels like a rubber band flicking against your skin. I felt it, but with the light twilight anesthesia, it didn't really bother me. Mark says I have just a little bit of a bruise back there, but it wasn't bad. I didn't have all the other things that you could have with it, like bleeding and stuff. So I think they were extremely careful since I only have one kidney left. And I've been very lucky. I'm just passing dust. I don't know. So I will go back in July 22nd to have another CT scan, and they'll check for that kidney and see if the stone is there, gone, whatever. I am having a little bit of a hard time drinking 8 ounces of water every hour that you're awake. If you add that up, that's a lot. Oh, Mayor, good for you. Oh, wait, in my face. Yeah, I did notice today that I keep staying with this. I'm being so good. And it's between having to drink so much water, like this recently, I ate a watermelon because it's 90% water, and whatever way I can get water through my body. But I'm working, I have another weigh-in this week, so cross your fingers, the end of the week, I'll have lost some more weight. But I've got to do it. You know, you reach a point, they've been telling you for years, and then you reach a point, you've got to do it. So anyway, and Mark and I have plans. I want to be around. You know, have y'all, any of you that are of an age like me, have any of you, it is a lot, Laura, have any of you start thinking, how much time do I have left? And then every moment becomes very precious. But we've had a busy week. My daughter was here Thursday and Friday doing some painting, and she was looking for some summer jobs. She's a teacher, and you know, we pay our teachers a really crappy salary. And so she said, I thought I would look for, pick up a job the weeks she's off. And it's not as many as you'd think either. So the teachers work like 2 weeks after the kids get out and come back 2 weeks before. So it's a lot. But anyway, so I said, well, we could use some rooms painted. Would you be interested in earning some money painting? And we made sure to pay her the going rate too, because that's important and it's good work for her. So she did let me see if I can quickly find a picture. She did our guest room, because that's never been painted in the 16 years almost that we've lived here. Pardon me, I didn't realize that my little hearing aid was popping out. But let me go back to, and I'm going to try to show you what she has done. I took some quick pictures, and okay, now I'm going to go down to, okay, let me bring these up. And here is the guest room. Whoops. In fact, Polly can tell you she's been here before, and I would keep the door closed because we had never painted the room. We've never done anything in the room. So what we did is we had a real rickety guest bed. Mark said, let's get a new guest bed. And so we got this one, much sturdier. And it has a trundle that raises up, so it makes a queen-size bed. And it's good when my son and his kids come up. So I got a new bedspread and pillow shams for it. Mayor, what does that You don't know how much longer. Oh, I know. Oh, I know. Thank goodness Mayor's been getting good results. So everyone cross your fingers that that continues for. But anyway, so my daughter painted this, and it's kind of a blue-gray. We got the new bed off Amazon very, very reasonably. We used the mattresses we had already had. Got a new little bedspread for very, very little. Now let me find the next photo. And here's the other side. So I'm really happy. I've got a new rug coming in tomorrow. And the room might look awkward, but it's a longer room than it is wide. And by the time you stretch these, pull out the trundle and bring it up, you notice there's a space right here. So this will slide. We've already got sliders under it. This slides into the corner, then that way you can pull up the extra bed. There's a little nightstand here that they can actually, if you don't, they don't mind the door bumping it, they can put the nightstand there. But these new beds, I gotta tell you, this is so funny. This is a disco bed. There is a little light strip right along here, and it has 2 plug outlets and 2 USB outlets. So that's nice because they can sit their phone up here and have it charging during the night. But the one problem, what in the world? Okay, the one problem, we're going to have to get some safety covers for those for when the little ones come to stay with us. But so then it has a remote control, a bed with a remote control, and you can turn on it. It can do a disco light show where it changes all kinds of colors, and it actually reacts to your voice. Now this bed only costs $200. But it has a remote with a disco light thing that's voice activated. So I have a feeling they're not going to be interested in that. But the boys will like it before they go to sleep. But anyway, but it's nice, and we're real tickled. I've decided to keep this little chest here, and I'm going to make use it like a window seat and make a little cover here. And I think my dog Gromit, we used to have the bed in front of the window, and he would get up on the bed to look out. So I think if I make him a cover here, keep him off of the bed, and that'll be good. But I've got a new rug coming in, just little. It's amazing how inexpensively you can do these things nowadays. And I'm going to tell you, I've always been a Valspar paint fan, but I used Behr this time, and I tell you what, it covered beautifully. I got the one coat coverage guaranteed. It was great. So I've got a few little things, and I have decided, let me come back, I've decided that my little, whoops, there it is down there, my little birdies on a wire quilt, it's going to live in that room. So I've only got 2 little leaves to finish sewing down. I've done all of the hand stuff, and so it's going to go in there. And then I'm going to make the cushion to go on top of that little chest, and then I'm going to make a table runner to go on top of the dresser. So I've got the fabric in the closet. It's just a matter of doing it. But now I feel much better about that guest room, and the bed is much sturdier, much nicer. So then she's busy. She has now started on our sunroom. And when I painted the sunroom 16 years ago, I used 2 shades of green. I learned years ago that if you have like a sunroom, that you want to paint it, if you are as crazy about seeing the outdoors as I am, that you want to paint that sunroom colors of nature, so that when I first bought the house, it was painted white and it had stained wood trim, and it just stopped your eye. You didn't really pay attention to outside. So I used 2 colors of green, thinking, well, green and leaves. But unfortunately, it's gotten beaten up, just everyday living. And paint ages, like anything. But it had a yellow base on it, and that's just not what colors are nowadays. So here is what I'm now painting it. These are 2 shades of gray, and they have a touch of blue in them. Barely, but they're gray. This time I said, we only have leaves 6 months of the year. So try to go in the grays like tree bark. So what I tried to do was match tree bark. And let me tell you, she's gotten the trim done so far, and it's wonderful. You don't even pay attention to the color. The eyes go straight out the window. So she's coming back Tuesday to finish the walls, and because right now it looks weird having green and then this gray. But I think these are going to work, and I tell you what, Behr paint might be a couple extra dollars a gallon, but it's phenomenal. It really, really is. So I just thought I would show you that. So what this means is I had the lithotripsy Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I kind of had to take it easy. Thursday, we had to get busy, and well, luckily Mark moved all the heavy stuff in the guest room, vacuumed it, because when you pull out furniture you see dust you didn't know about. So but and then I got my frame room cleaned up and got anything that was my crafting back into my frame room, got it all ready for now. We spent Thursday and Friday getting the 2 rooms completely ready for her, so when she came in she could just get to work. Then we spent Friday night and yesterday putting that new bed together and getting the room rearranged, and so I'm exhausted. I told Mark, normally I work all the time to get things ready for the show. And so I tell myself, Monday's my day off. I have to have a day to that's really helped me, is having a day off. So tomorrow, we're looking forward to a day off. We're exhausted. I did have a little time last night to go work on the Mobius class. And here is the first arc, and I still have a little ways to go. Then I'll do this all again, and then the 2 arcs will be put together to make a continuous circle. And what is really cool about this pattern, and I'll give you the name of the woman who designed it. It starts out that black is the dominant color. It ends up where white is the dominant color. So when you put these 2 together, and they kind of go on opposite of each other, it is a great graphic design. And I'm making this for Mark, and he said, well, what am I going to do with it? I said, we'll find a place. But he loves, I kind of like country farmhouse. He loves modern, sleek, graphic. So this one's for him. I don't know what my dogs are barking at. Oh, I see. Woo, Walmart's delivering part of an order. But I wanted to thank the lady who has the pug. I want to thank her for recommending Heat and Bond Light. I'm really liking it. So thank you. And I'll tell you more about this when we get into the Mosaic. And I ended up finding this clear plastic 24 egg carton that I could put all my little squares in. So earlier, I just wanted to, that's right, I was telling you and you weren't here, because I saw that someone said, those are tiny little squares. Always feel able to adjust any pattern you want. It is yours. I might design it or come up with the idea, but the pattern is yours. Once you decide to do it, that's your thing, and I want you to go for it. I just realized I had a baggie with a little bit of water in it. I want to get rid of that. Don't need any mold growing down here. But anyway, sorry about that. That's my squirrel coming out in me. And So I want to tell Mary this especially, sweetheart. I cut the pieces out, maybe just a tad. They are at least a full 1/2 inch, probably a little bit more. And since I thought to myself, wait a minute, if I draw the lines every 1/2 inch and then I make the squares 1/2 inch, you won't see the, you won't be able, oh, I'm giving you a sneak peek. You won't be able to see the background fabric between, and that's what gives it that wow, that pop, that mosaic look. So, as you can see, I'm having a blast. I'm going to show you everything that I am doing to this, and I'll tell you how I got the lines drawn on the black fabric. That was a whole, just getting the lines drawn on the fabric. But I'm going to tell you, and please understand, it takes some prep. You have to prep the background fabric with, you know, the grids. And that's where this ruler came in very handy. So you have to prep and draw lines both ways so you have references. Then you have to iron. Let me turn off this phone. It's going to drive me nuts. So, pardon me one moment. I'm so sorry. And let me get this turned off. It was Walmart telling me they were coming to deliver. Well, surprise, surprise, I saw them in the driveway. So, okay, everything on vibrate, turned way down, good. I apologize, between the dogs and the phone. So you know that you have to, I would pick a piece of fabric, decide what size, and I'm pulling up a piece to show you. This is going to be part of the sky. So I would iron on the back some of that wonderful Heat and Bond light. And the reason I'm using Heat and Bond light is because when I did the birdies on the wire and tried to sew through the Steam-A-Seam 2, it was awful. It kept breaking my thread. It was too thick and gooey. So this seems much better, much less gooey. So I'm enjoying using this. So you have to take and put your Heat and Bond on the back of your fabric. And then once you do that, you can take a, you can sit and take a mat with slots in it, like the Taylor cutter. But what I ended up doing, I actually wanted my squares to be 5/8 of an inch. I just felt better about that. So I eyeballed mine to give them a little slight kind of more casual look. So I can sit and just cut a square like that. And that's what I did. I sat in front of the television, cut my squares, then put them in my little egg carton. Then, once you put them on the fabric, you just lay them out carefully without sneezing. And you, so here I cut these up. And this one, let me show you. This one is a little short. It ran to the edge of the adhesive. I'm keeping this because what I'm doing is I'm actually trying to follow the pattern. I'll cut things in half and have, you know, so that the pattern can work instead of being pixelated. I didn't want it to look like pixelated. And because that is too artificial looking. In mosaics and stained glass, they try to have a definite flow to whatever. So I will show you how I've cut some in weird angles. But what I love about it, so you have to get that done. You have to get the lines drawn on the paper, so there is some prep. But once you do that, it is fun. The part I love about it is the part that reminds me of building those miniature houses from a kit. And it's just, it's like, or if you like putting together puzzles. It's kind of like that. And I can't wait to show you that. But I've got a couple other little things first, but that is coming up. And then, I'm going to tell you a couple things real quick, because then we're going to go to Meltem's pictures. She sent us the most amazing photos from her beautiful country of Turkey and that beautiful Hagia Sophia, that wonderful mosque building that was built in the 1400s. So we're going to get ready and do that first. But just to tell you, the paper bead rollers that I have the wonderful handles for, I asked for slotted tension springs is what they're called. And it's a piece of stainless steel with a slot down the middle. Well, instead of getting the ones with the slot, I got solid, what they call steel dowels. I can't use those. So I wrote the seller and told him, and he said he apologized and he's put new ones back in the mail. But it'll probably be another 2 weeks till I get them. So as soon as I get those in, I can't wait to show you them. Had no chance to work on my applique borders for my sparrows quilt. I did a little bit of work on my Mobius. Oh, I can't wait. I'll tell you more, but I'll just tell you that don't forget our class coming up July 21st through 25th. I have to have a CT scan at 8 a.m. on the 22nd. So the 22nd class will be an afternoon class. I don't think I'll be ready to go before noon. So just want to let you know. I have to go to the hospital. That's so busy and big, but they'll do the CT scan there. But my next idea, I love looking at things, and Bonnie is so wonderful about sending us, oh, there's this thing going on, and I'll follow Bonnie's trail down the rabbit hole, and I saw it was a paper version of a reverse applique. And were you ever in art class, did you ever color a picture really bright? A lot of bright colors and shapes. Then take a black crayon and cover the whole thing, and then scrape off the black to reveal the color below. That's what I want to do. And a couple years ago, we did something very similar to that. But what I want to do this time is take a piece of very bright, vivid pattern fabric. And it's going to stay kind of small because I'm enjoying doing small things now. And so we're going to pick something that has, like, if you want your solid to be black or dark blue or whatever, don't have much of that color in the fabric that you're going to choose, because then we take the solid piece and put over it. And on the solid piece, we're going to draw whatever pattern of what object we want, whether it's a vase with flowers, whether it's an animal or whatever. And that way, I'm going to show you how to do reverse applique, where you cut out of the front fabric, tuck it under, stitch it around, revealing the bright, beautiful fabric below. So that will be coming up very soon. Bonnie, you just give me all kinds of, and Marcia Hunn showed some fabric that would be great if you're doing mosaics. So thank you for keeping the ideas flowing, because that's how I get the ideas of things to do. And I even have another project in the work for after that one, so it's nice to have all of these. So the first thing we're going to do right now is we're going to go look at the pictures from Miss Meltem, because it is very late there, and I want her to be able to get some sleep. And that way she can tell you information along the way about these photos. When we come back, I'm going to show you again how I put the fabric on the Mobius, and then we're going to get into this mosaic quilt. It is fun. Fun, fun, fun. All right, so now I'm going to pull up Miss, and we'll still do show and tell at the end because I've got some pictures from Melanie. So Melanie wrote me an email, and I apologize. I haven't had I haven't had any time to answer back, but I will get to it at some point, I'm sure. Okay, so now I'm going to go to show and tell, and go to Miss Meltem from Turkey. And Turkey, for Turkish people, it's Turkiye, I think, something like that. But oh, how beautiful. So I am so in love with her country. I mean, we're talking like one of the birthplaces of civilization. So here we go. And I'm going to enlarge this. This is a wonderful mosque that was built before the Renaissance. Now think about that. They were able to build this amazing building before the Renaissance started in Europe. And it is beautiful. And it's been used as a museum. It's been used as a religious place of worship. It's been used for numerous things. But I do believe she said it's been very special for them because they have started having services in it. But this is just, I mean, look at the ceiling. Look at that. And these arches. So this building is over 600 years of age, and it is just beautiful. I'm assuming most of the walls are covered, al fresco, pardon me, not al fresco, that means outside, I think. Fresco, which means they paint on raw plaster. So the plaster is put on, and then as soon as they can paint on it, they paint on it, and then the paint is absorbed into the plaster, so it is pretty permanent. So when you see things like here, this paint here, or even older, like in Pompeii, and you see the walls still painted, that is how that is able to be seen. Because it's more than just sitting on the surface. It's into the plaster. In fact, when you can see right here where it might be missing some plaster, has been repaired, that's why you don't see the paint there. But look at the pattern. What I like to do when I see pictures of antiquity is get ideas for quilts. And in fact, you know what I'm noticing, Bonnie? I'm going to enlarge this. Guess what? You know the fleur-de-lis quilt that we've been working on for a number of years? Look how similar this looks to the pattern in our fleur-de-lis. And then look at the checkerboard pattern here. Look at that heavily leaded window in that little dormer. I mean, look at these little hearts that make like a 4-leaf clover. Isn't this just amazing? I mean, how beautiful is that? I mean, we can't imagine anything that old. If you're in the United States, that is just beyond, that blows our mind. So, okay, whoops, I'm sorry, let me go back. Oh, wait a minute, this might be a new one. Okay, I don't want to miss a single one. Yeah, this is a new one. It's above, you don't see the chandelier. But look at the chandelier, look at the metal work. Isn't this just amazing? I'm going to go back one touch. Okay, I don't know if we've seen this one. I think before it was a close-up. I assume, okay. I just want to make sure. I don't want to miss a single one. I had mentioned just a few weeks ago to Meltem that Mark and I watched on TV and saw it was a flyover kind of like Smithsonian show where they were showing sites in countries, and we saw the outside of this building and heard just a little bit of the history, and we were in awe of this building. And she said, oh, next time I go, I'll take pictures. Well, look at what she has done. Oh my gosh, she has shared some of her country's rich history with us. And I just love how, imagine how this was built that long ago. And it is wonderful to see. And look some of the wood carving that they have. It is beautiful. All right, let's see what is next. But this building, think of what this building, if it could talk, what has it seen? Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Look at those chandeliers. And I assume that they used to be able to be raised and lowered so that they could be lit by candlelight. But how amazing was that? Look at the arches in the windows. Isn't that amazing? So, okay, just beautiful. Ah, look, there's another one of those ceilings. Look at this. Isn't that just beautiful? It almost looks like leather. It has such history built up on top of the plaster and the stone. It is just, oh my goodness. Let me see if I can I want you to see. I assume it's metalwork. Look at this. Look at all of the scroll work here. And this is probably carved. I don't know if this is metal or carved wood, but oh my gosh, that's just beautiful. I got so excited when she saw the pictures. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. Well, then she took us around to see, we'll see more pictures of the Hagia Sophia, but right now she also included pictures from little shops in the city where this is. And these are some of their historic country custom costumes. And they're just beautiful. Look at this. Look at the metallic threads, the coins around the headwear. Look at all of the work that was put into these. This is absolutely beautiful, and just the craftsmanship is just amazing. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. Oh, this is so pretty too. I love these dishes. Look at the bright color in these dishes. Look at the patterns. And all of these, I bet you a lot of these patterns have little hints to the culture and the belief system and the things that the Turkish artisans hold dear. But isn't this beautiful? Isn't this just beautiful? And imagine having all these colors in your home. I mean, oh, it's just amazing. So, that is really, really wonderful. Thank you for showing all this. Just beautiful. It's so nice because we don't have to get on a plane. We're seeing wonderful world history, right? And look at this lamp. Isn't that amazing? Oh, look at the tray on the wall. I love some of the Turkish trays too. But isn't this beautiful? I mean, this is quite a civilization. How many years were these kind of things? They say arts flourish in a country that can feed itself and that feels more safe. You know, if you're struggling just to get by, then you don't really have the time or energy for the arts. So this is just beautiful. Oh, here we go. She's got some food. And I've noticed they use lots of nuts and dates and baklava. Look at this. Looks like pistachios in this. I don't know if they call this baklava, but that's that pastry. I forgot now what it's called. It has just bunches, hundreds of sheets of puff pastry. And then some bread sandwiches. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at some of the other stuff in the background. So, whoops. I didn't mean to run. Let me go back. It's very sensitive. I want to show you what's down here. So, looks like, oh, pistachios are right here. Dried apricots. A lot of dried fruit. Wow. Displayed. I'm not sure what this is, but it probably has something to do with pistachios too. I see almonds over here. And what do we call these? Hazelnuts. So I think nuts are very much appreciated. Ah, corn. Okay. Wonderful. Isn't that beautiful? Just beautiful. Okay. Now let's go. What I'm always amazed at is the amount of artistry and care and time that goes into those specialty foods. I'm going to enlarge this so you can see there is a wooden puppet. I'm looking in the background. I'm just trying to figure out what some of these things are. They're beautiful. And it looks like a lot of things to do with puppetry too. Look at the leather wristbands. Beautiful. Then look at this little statue here. Oh, these are cute. This looks like Einstein, so these must be from all around the world. Look at that. Isn't that neat? I love it. Artwork always makes me happy. And look at that puppet. Okay. Oh, look at this jewelry. And it looks like they use a lot of enameled jewelry. So it's done with metal and then filled in with a liquid enamel paint that then hardens. Isn't that beautiful? So these would all be painted by hand. Oh, look at this. Just beautiful. So they are amazing metal workers. Look at, oh, that's great. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Okay. Then the Hagia Sophia Grand Mosque. Ah, look at this. So if you could bring that up with your phone, it'll give you all the information about it. Isn't that amazing? Okay. I love the writing, the Turkish writing. It's so pretty. Okay. Very, very artistic. All right. Look at this. Look at the garden. Oh my goodness. Look at that. These are roses in a ring. I'm not sure. Looks like marigolds. These might be some kind of begonia, maybe the ones that like the sun better. But this is beautiful. Look at that. And I don't know, I don't know what this sign says, but well, I see something. I don't know. I can't quite make it out, but it's beautiful. But if it were my garden, I would say don't step on the flowers. Don't hurt those flowers. Now look at this building. Look at this. Look at all of the arched windows. These had to have been before Palladia and his Palladian windows, but look at this. Isn't that just beautiful? Oh my goodness. Just beautiful. Okay, we're going to go on to another one. And anyone who wants to show pictures of their town, it says keep off the grass. But you know, if anyone wants to show pictures of your town or your country, please feel free to send them to me, and I love learning. Whatever way I can learn is good for me. So I love seeing this. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, and don't forget, BB sent us photos of, and I think a video of the whirling dervish religious people, and that was amazing. So it looks like you take off your shoes before you come in the mosque, and people just feel comfortable to sit down and talk, probably learn. There probably are tour guides that teach them information. Look at this. The chandeliers are so pretty. Look at this beautiful writing. Oh, look at these pots hanging up there. I wonder what that's about. And then it looks like a drapery here. And then right up into that magnificent dome. Oh my goodness. Look at that. So that is amazing. And then, okay, now let me see. I want to make sure I got them all. I don't think I did. Nope, I did not. So, let me see. So I think I came back to this one, and it's like this main dome and then some smaller domes. That's just amazing. Oh, this is beautiful. Look at this shot with the other. Look at all of the lighting. Look at this tile work right in here. I assume it's tile work. It might be stone work. Oh. But you know, I love it. Jenny Beyer was going to take a trip to Europe to study some of the amazing mosaic floors in some of the grand cathedrals and buildings. And unfortunately, 9/11 came along, and I know they didn't do it that right then. I hope she had a chance to visit and record some of those. But this is just beautiful. My goodness. Isn't this beautiful? Look at all of the light that comes in. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, look at this rug. Oh my goodness. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. And I assume these are handmade or made on a loom. They are gorgeous. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. Oh, look at the colors in this one. Wow. Just amazing. Oh, here is a fascinating building. Now that is like nothing I've ever seen. Beautiful. Look at it. It has the roof that sticks out like a mansard roof that we're used to. But look at the curves. Oh, all the shuttering. I would assume those shutters are probably meant to keep out the sun and the large overhang to keep the buildings cooler. Because I would imagine that they have some hot weather in Turkey. And right here, let me see if I can show you the carving in this rail. That is wonderful. and everything. All of these are carved. So much ornamentation. Look at this. So, how beautiful. Just beautiful. Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, look, I would like to just buy the broken pieces of the pottery. Look at it. And it looks like, yes, they have made their own little casual kind of, pardon me, mosaic that they have put in a type of mortar. Look at that. That is just so bright and pretty. And then, oh, look at this. This comes out from that wall. So this is a cup and a saucer. Look at this. Wow, that would be so bright and pretty. And in fact, I think there was a man in Texas who did stuff like that with Coke bottles, but this is much prettier. That stuff is beautiful. Oh my. Oh my. Look at this. That reminds me of a Pisanki egg. Oh, they're so pretty. Look at all these little bits and pieces. It looks like a lid of a teapot. And here's like the bottom of a teapot. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Those colors are magical. Wow. Oh, there's a dervish, one of the religious men. Isn't that? Oh, that's so cool. And look at all of the pottery. That, look, the pottery looks like bubbles coming up the wall. Oh man, look at this. Isn't that amazing? Oh, a mirrors in this part of the wall. Oh, look at that. That looks like an eye looking at you. Oh, this is beautiful. I believe this is a Muslim symbol. Turkey. Just beautiful. Oh. Oh, it's got electric lights on it. Oh, here's another. That's wonderful. Oh, look at this tower over here. Wow. This is a work of art, too. It sure is. Wow. Thank you for showing all of these. Oh, this is her quilt that she did. I normally have to, after a certain length of time, I have to take down some of the old photos. But this quilt was so amazing, I couldn't bear to delete it. So I think we are now at the end. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Melton. That the sign in the garden is explained above. Oh, the maintenance of the area is carried out by the Faith Municipality. Oh, wow. Okay. I got you. Okay, that is terrific. We're learning so much. I can't thank you enough about that, Melton. That is just beautiful. Just beautiful. Wow. Fantastic. Isn't that inspiring? Because art is art, no matter where in the world, and it touches all of you. Whether it's mud cloth from Africa, whether it is beautiful, beautiful pottery from Turkey, or whether it is cave paintings from France. I mean, it is all beautiful. And when you love artwork, it's all, you can learn from every bit of it. So, all right, so now that was really beautiful. That, in fact, I downloaded them and tried not to look at them because I wanted to experience it with you. And some of those were breathtaking. That was amazing. So thank you, Miss Melton. You have done a wonderful, wonderful thing for us. What a gift. What a gift. Okay, so I'm gonna show you. Okay, this Mobius pattern, it's paper pieced. Most of you have done paper piecing. The only difference is this is done on an arc shape. But if you look at it a little bit differently, if you take your time, look at it a little bit differently, you will fall right into line with it. It is not a problem. So, and I was going to tell you, okay, this quilt pattern is by Audrey Essere, right there. Quilt pattern by Audrey Essere. It's called Mobius Radial Quilt, and her company is Cotton and Bourbon. Okay? And you can go to her site and purchase this pattern and download it. And that's nice because then you immediately have it. And she's very, very talented. I also love when this gets put together. I thought by looking at the picture that I had to have different colors of black. I thought I had to have a range from gray through to black. And you don't. You just have to have a white and a very dark gray to black. And this is going to be one arc, and it continues until, well, I'll show you. But I keep a pen and keep it pinned up so it's out of the way. So the full arc is pretty big. Whoops, all the way down to here. So let me show you the pattern. So see, it's kind of like a man in the moon, it's like a moon shape. And then you do another one. And then when you put them together, they create that ring. And by having the size of the fabrics vary, going from mostly black to mostly white, it kind of does an optical illusion, almost as if it looks like it's moving a little. So I'm very excited about this, and I'm going to get my close-up camera that, as far as I know, is still working today, and I'm going to get ready and show you how. No, I'm not sure. This might be upside down. Let me see how it works. And get my... Yep, there we go. There we go. Okay. So, I've just put on... In fact, let me get my iron ready. Because I can't wait to show you all about this wonderful mosaic. So I'm going to show you this kind of quickly. But I'm just going to run my fingernail down here. Then what you do, like normal with a paper piece pattern, is this is the last line you sewed on. So what I do is I smooth this white fabric out and make sure in fact, if you don't, to make sure the white completely covers the black. Now see right here, I can see a little bit of black through that. So all I do is lift up that white and trim back that black a little. Because if you don't, it will shadow through to the front. And you probably have all seen quilts that had shadow lines because of the white fabric. I saw the most beautiful, when I judged a quilt contest, there was a beautiful red and white quilt, and unfortunately I saw all the shadow lines. So it should have won, but it couldn't because that was so distracting. Alright, so then I just take, you can iron it or finger press, and in fact, whoops, nope, my iron won't reach there. Okay, I was going to say I could iron quickly on this as long as I didn't spend too much time with the iron on it. Alright, so I flip this back, and this is the next line that is important because you work line. Let me make sure I've got the right one. What the reason I'm confused is this is where the paper joined. I started to think that this was the line. This is just the seam of the papers. This is the next sewing line because the white is getting bigger than the black. So white, black, all of this is the white, then black. Okay, so when I go to fold, because that's how I'll know how to cut the fabric, I go to fold it and it's all the way to here. Okay, and I'm folding it on the next line that I'm going to sew on. Okay. And you know, I have found these have a comfort grip. They're great for running right along to crease. Okay? And what you'll notice then when you lift it back, look how beautifully creased this fabric is. Now, if you're new to paper piecing, I would put a ruler. I would put a ruler down. They've got something called add a quarter ruler. I would put the ruler down and then trim this. But since I've been doing this for a bunch of years, what I know to do is to cut a 1/4 inch on this side of this crease. And since I've been sewing so long, I can judge a 1/4 inch pretty darn well. And you just want to make sure you have at least a 1/4 inch. It's not something where the seam allowance has to be perfect. Okay, so now I've got, now by creasing that so firmly as I did, I'm now ready to place my next fabric because I know that that's where I'm going to sew. So what I do is I put right sides together, and last time we made the white go longer than the black. She said to also do that when you put the black on top of the white. Always make sure that the next fabric you put on extends past that 1/4 inch of the underneath fabric. Now since I'm working with y'all and I don't want to make a big mistake, I'm going to go ahead and pin this. But if you're at home and you can hold this carefully, you wouldn't have to pin it. Now I have to make my stitch length 1.8 or 1.6, as small as you want, so that you feel, I'm going to fold this back up and put this little clip on here because it makes it easier to handle. And these little clips are great. Alright, so now what I'm looking at, here's the line right here that I'm going to sew on. I want to make sure that I see at least a 1/4 inch. Whoops. Let me see. Am I pushing it? No. Okay, here we go. I want to make sure I see at least a 1/4 inch, and you can see the black goes farther than the white. Come down here. Here it is. I've got a 1/4 inch, and the black goes past the white. So now I just bring it over, and I'm making sure. I'm going to move this one pin. I do not want to take any chances of sewing on a pin. I remember watching Alex Anderson way back, and she had done that, and it broke the main shaft of her expensive sewing machine. I don't want to do that. Okay, so I've got the stitch length shorter. Let me get the camera angle better. Stitch length shorter. I start sewing right at the edge of the paper. So I'm sewing the seam starting in the seam allowance, and I kind of hold it right. I just kind of hold the paper for a moment so I build up a couple stitches, and that'll lock the seam. Because anytime you're doing paper piecing, the seams can be a little vulnerable when it's time to take off the paper. Okay, so I'm getting to the edge here. I'm just going to hold the paper, do a couple stitches. Now move it. And there's one thing I'm not sure I actually finished telling you last week. But when it comes time to take the paper off, normally people will just start here and pull it off. She does something really, whoops, now my camera, okay. She does something really cool, okay, because normally I wouldn't take the paper off until I have this sewn into the background. Because when you do paper piecing, you never know where the biased edge is. And so if you take off the paper too soon, the bias could be along here, and oh my goodness. Well, you know, I know you've seen this before, but here's the stretch this way. There's no stretch this way. So the fabric, the selvage would have run along this edge. And there's no stretch here, just a tiny bit here. But now watch when I go crossways on the grain. Watch, look at that. Do you see all that? That's what the bias edge. So that's why when you do paper piecing, wait until you have sewn this into the background and the center circle. But I'm going to show you so you'll remember this. When you do something like this, she said start taking off your paper in the center, and pull it off to the outside. Okay? That's different than we normally do. But she said, especially when you get down to those thin little edges, the edges of this get very vulnerable. That's why I slow down my stitch so that I double or triple up the stitches right at the edge. But see this? So you just take and you can dip your scissors in carefully, or just use a pin, come across, and that will cut the fabric. So you can get into the middle and then gently pull this there, that easily. Okay, so just don't forget this. It's a really good tip, and it can keep you from stretching those biases, because remember, when you're sewing on a curve, all bets are off. You have no idea where the biases are. Alright, so now I'm going to take out these pins here. Always make sure when you pin your fabric on that you know you're going to have enough. Once you turn it over, you've got to have enough to go past the seam here and past the seam here. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to do one more. I'm not going to put any more fabric on because I think that this helps you see it enough. But I'm going to do a fold then on the next sewing line. So here is the next sewing line, and I'm very careful to go right down that line. Right down it. And then when you come back over this way, you can see that nice crease right there. And just remember that you cut on this side over here of this crease. And so make sure that I come over 1/4 of an inch past this crease right there. I know it's harder for you to see the crease on this black fabric, but you come and you cut 1/4 of an inch. Now if you haven't add 1/4 ruler, then you can do it. You can even cut it with a rotary cutter. Just make sure you fold it so there's no paper in the way. Then you put the add 1/4 and cut. But for me, this is the easiest and fastest way. Now let me very quickly run an iron over it, and then I will show you. And she likes doing finger pressing before you take it to an iron, because sometimes you kind of have to work the fabric because you're going in a curve. So just to make sure, there was one area right here. I unfortunately have a little bit too much fabric here. And so maybe when I take the paper off, I'll adjust the seam just a little. But that's what you have to make sure. If you use your finger to press this, then you'll be able to get the fabric smooth and down nice and tight. I also see right here is a black thread under that white fabric. Now, luckily I can go in here and grab it, but I'm going to show you what if you have a quilt that's been quilted and you see a dark thread in it. You take your pin and you kind of make a little, you kind of tease the weave open just a touch, and then just pull, try to gently urge part of that thread to come out of the fabric. There. Now I'll just grab it with my fingernails, or if you have tweezers, just grab it and pull it out right there. Now that one's gone, but this one is still here, so I'll show you one more time. So I could normally reach in here and grab it, but I want to show you what do you do if you find a dark thread in your quilt when it's already sewn and you can't open it back up. So let's, right where the thread is, I stick my needle in and kind of just wiggle it a little bit to make the hole a little bit larger. And look, I move the thread, but then I go in and I kind of just carefully with that needle try to pull the thread to the opening. I might just go back, make a new opening here. As long as you're not tearing the weave, as long as you're just gently teasing it open a little. And you just keep working to pull that dark thread to the opening. Let me try it again. I'm going to go here. But you have to take your time. You do not want to break the threads in the weave, but you just keep working until you can tease that dark thread to the opening. This one's really being difficult for me, but you just gently tease it over. Okay, let's try this again. Gently tease it. Aha, there it is. Let me see if I can grab it with my fingernail. I think I gotta tease it a little more. Oh, come on, you can do it. Come on, thread. You just have to be careful not to break any of the good fabric. Oh, it went back in. I'm going to get this because I want you to see how easy it is, and that way you don't have to be bothered by these threads. You just are working on pulling it, trying to catch it with the tip of that pin and urging it to come out. I might not be urging it hard enough. I want to make sure I don't hurt any of the fabric, because if you start tearing it up, tearing the fabric, I'm going to come here and see if I can get it. But you just take the pin. Oh, I've got it close. Let's see. Take the pin and just kind of try to grab it. Come on. Well, this might be too much like watching paint dry. I got the other one, which was the smaller one. I thought that was going to be the hard. Oh, here we go. I got it. It's sticking out of the hole. Well, it's right there. I can see it's dark right there. Come on. It keeps wanting to go back in. Anyway, I might just go down in here and pull this up. But you see what you do, and try to get where there's really good light. One of the things is I have to keep the camera in between me and the light. Try to get where there's really good light. You just kind of stick the needle in and just keep trying to catch that thread and pull it over. Alright, well, I'm not gonna torture y'all, but this, once you have this all sewn, hopefully by next Sunday, I'll show you how I put these two pieces together. And if you just follow the instructions, and you can ask her questions, she will help you, and it's really an exciting program. All right, so let me come back to the main camera, and I really wanted to get that second thread out, but couldn't quite do it. All right, so now I'll put this here, and let's work on the mosaic. I'll get that iron out of the way, but I'm glad I've got it on because I will use it. Now, make sure you don't sneeze when you're working on this, because, well, what I did by spilling these squares, I was bringing them downstairs and I caught them on the edge of a cabinet, and that's all it takes. Whoop, they go. But okay, we're going to start at the beginning, and let me get you on the detail camera so I can show you. Also, it helps. This is kind of a thick, neat pen. It helps if you can use a very fine pen to try to catch that thread to pull it out. But you never have to worry anymore if one gets caught in there. You know what to do to get it out. All right. All right, so let's start at the beginning, and let me get this camera, close-up camera going. All right, I'm so glad it's working. All right, so I'm going to show you several things right here. Here is the color that I wanted to use that would act like the leading if you are considering this stained glass, or as the, what is it called? When you're working with mosaics, you're putting down, it's not mortar, but it's like mortar. And so, okay, so that you choose whatever color background. But if you want it to look like stained glass, especially, having a higher contrast really makes it stand out. And traditionally with stained glass, they used lead to connect the pieces, and then soldered with a lead-based soldered. Then they took like a charcoal pen and ran it over the lead solder to give it a darkened look, because they love that look. And here is one of the pages, and if you want a page of this, please, you can send me an email to OurTimetoQuilt. Let me come over here and put it in. But OurTimetoQuilt at gmail.com. It's now gmail.com. All right. But you can join our chat group. You can ask for a free copy of this pattern. Whatever makes you happy. Grout. Thank you. Thank you. I think Mary was going to try to get that in there too. But with the patterns I sent you, you can start out coloring it just to give yourself an idea. Now, I'm going to bring you down really closely. Right? See the lines. I had a white chalk pencil that I was trying to use, and honest to goodness, I couldn't get it to work right. So what I did is I did lines at about 5/8 plus, or just over 5/8 plus. Now, see the pencil lag? It just made this line right here. So what I've noticed, when you're trying to do the line on your fabric, go both ways with the pencil, because if you only go one way, it'll only show one way. But what I did is I took this pencil and the ruler and I marked grid, both going both ways, 5/8 of an inch, both directions, so that I have a very nice grid on my fabric. Now, I'm hoping it won't really notice, but if it does, I can always use my white eraser, and after it's done and sewed down, I can go down the little gap and erase my pencil line. You can see it hardly shows now. But that's the only thing that I could use. I tried. Now, I could have used tailor's chalk, and I'll show you where I very successfully used tailor's chalk. The only thing I worry about is I did not want the tailor's chalk to rub off at the wrong time where I wouldn't be able to see it. I needed to know these lines would stay there. So that's why I was trying to use a chalk pencil that might have some more staying power. Now, I used this piece. This is called Golden Threads paper. It comes on a roll. I took and made a copy. In fact, let me show you. There is, right there, is my pinned together pattern. All the 4 pattern sheets taped together. And I took and I made a copy of that on this Golden Threads paper. Miss Judy Lilly taught me how to do this. And this way, I'll show you how it works. You can, I've got it pinned right up here. And you can tell where to put the things on by looking at this pattern. You can lift this up and know exactly where to put the next piece. But what I've been doing is I've been trying to draw, and I didn't bring down my tailor's chalk. Let me grab another one. Okay. But tailor's chalk would have done really well with the lines. Let me show you. It would have done really well with the lines. I just worried about it rubbing off. But what I love about tailor's chalk is that sharp edge. So you can run it right along the ruler. So that is an amazing line. But it does brush off, and I've been handling this a lot. So you just kind of have to weigh it back and forth. But now what I use the tailor's chalk is, I want to know where to place my flowers on this pattern. So I come in here and I use the tailor's chalk to draw on here. And you'll see I know what I'm looking at. You'll probably go, what in the world? But this is going to be a leaf, this is going to be a leaf, this is going to be a leaf, these are going to be the flowers. Okay? So I know now where to place everything, because down here I wanted some dark color to kind of ground it. Remember I showed one of the examples and I loved the orange border around it? I think that is so cool. So I picked out which of these dark colors I wanted, cut enough squares of those, so that's going to go all the way up. Now, if you'll notice right here, I'm not happy with right here. Let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take and put the iron there, soften that up, and carefully lift it up and move it over. I had it kind of wandering inside a little too much. Now, I'm just worried. I don't, see what happened? So, the adhesive did not come up with it. So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I could cut a new piece of just adhesive, but I have tacky glue. So, I'm just going to come in here, put a little tacky glue where I want this thing to be now. Just a little bit like that, not too much. And then come and move it. But you notice that by heating up the little square, I was able to get it up without messing it up. Let me see if this one's still warm enough to lift. Ah, and this one came with its, nope, the adhesive is right there. So now, just be careful. You've got the square to work in. You know, watch what you're doing, measure from side to side to make sure you've got it where you want it. And if you iron over where you've done that little glue, it'll help it to dry very fast. Set that glue. So now I'm going to try to, these, I just had them, they were kind of sneaking in here, and I looked it over and went, nope, you got to adjust while you go. So take a look, stand back, use a ruler, and check it. So now, this looks much better, straighter. It was starting to come in, and I didn't want it to. Oh, this one too. Let me see if I can put some heat on this one. Now, one thing I found is my little applique iron that I was telling you I was going to use. I thought about being able to use that and sit in a comfortable chair and do this. But I have found that this wants to have a hotter iron than that little applique iron can give. So I set this up at a table. I have a table in my den that lifts up, and I sit and I lay everything out and start working on it. So now, this is what I've done so far. And, yeah, and you can cut them out with rulers. And I wanted to show you. When I cut them out, if I cut them out right at a 1/2 inch by using the slotted ruler, let me show you. This is what a ruler cut out as a 1/2 inch. And I decided, no, I want more of, this is the size that I wanted. So you can see the difference. And because I realized with that, oh my gosh, it'd be crazy. So I made them a little bigger. Now this one is probably, yeah, a little bit too big. Let me find another one that I really like. Here we go. This is a better size for me than this. This is if you used a slotted ruler at a 1/2 inch. That's what you get. I wanted this size. So, and what I did is there were times that the leaf kind of comes down like this, and this one had a point, so I'll just cut them the direction I want and then just fit them in so that I have what is going to hopefully, as it goes together, look more and more like you can see the actual leaves from the dark background. And right up here, I stop using the dark green background and go to blue sky in the back. So let me show you that. So I'm going to probably, let me start with something really bold. I've got all kinds of colors I've cut out. So here are some blues. Now, sometimes keep your little scissors handy. If you want them to be perfect squares, then cut them with a ruler. If you don't mind if they're a little bit more relaxed, that's kind of how I'm comfortable working, then you can cut them by hand. But in some places where it just wasn't big enough, I just put another piece over it. And because what we're going to do when all the pieces are down, I'm then going to probably sew through each little square with a diagonal line. I'll probably come in here because you cannot trust the fusible alone. Fusible will give way at some point. Alright, so now there's supposed to be a flower here. I'm going to go ahead and put a small, whoops. Sometimes, and see, I tried to iron this fabric on with just the applique iron, and sometimes that just wasn't hot enough to get it really going. Yeah, and then I'm going to show you, okay, now it's stuck. Alright. And make sure you're careful where you put the little papers that you pull off of here, because they're very slippery. Alright, so now I've got blue. Oops, let me get this just right. I don't want to just iron them one at a time, but you don't want them moving either. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, just because I want to show you, this is going to be flower number 3. Let me get my big pattern down. I have yet to put any flower pieces on, so I'll show you. I'm going to, each petal is one piece. So let me show you. Okay, so if I'm down here where the blue is starting, right here, if I'm down here, probably piece 16 and 17 would go right here. So let me go look. I want to show you what else I did. I've got the flowers in these separate baggies. Okay, here's baggie number 3, flower number 3. And what I did with these, I showed you before, I ironed the Heat and Bond light on the back of a, I took a big piece of Heat and Bond light and placed the fabrics on and ironed it good. Then what I did after that, I want piece 16 and 17. So let me peek at this. 16 and 17. I don't see it here. Okay, so let me find here's 16, and I need 17 is going to be a little slivery. Here's 17, okay, here's 17, there's 16. What I did, then I took, and I'm going to show you, let me put these pieces away so I can show you how did I get these pieces of a flower. And they're so well marked so that if anything falls off, either one of the papers were to come loose, I still know what it is. Okay, what I did then is I took, now I prepared it, here it is. I took a piece of freezer paper, shiny side, dull side. Then I'm just going to use any piece of paper, try to pretend this is not printed on the back, but, and let me move this, I don't want to iron these pieces yet. I'm going to move this here. Pretend that this sheet is the exact size of a sheet of paper, like this. Pretend it's the whole size. Then I take my iron and I lightly iron this on. And to keep it from rolling like that, then I came and I just touched it on that side. And then tried to let it cool, laying down. You can put anything, a magazine or something on it. Let it cool. Then, having the freezer paper on here, I was able to run this through the printer. Okay? And then I would print out whatever page I wanted, and here I've already cut out all the flowers, but see the shiny side on it? So that's how I could get the freezer paper to go through the printer so I didn't have to sit and hand draw all of those. and I would just print out that page. All right. And then I would take and cut out the freezer paper petal like this. And then I wrote on the front of the freezer paper, before I cut it out, I wrote the number on every petal. Then once I cut it out, I turned it to the back of the fabric and wrote that same number there. Because if you don't do that, then you're liable to get confused about which one that is. And see, the freezer paper comes off real easily. Freezer paper is just wonderful for that. Okay, now I'm going to carefully take off the sticky back. And alright, so now the adhesive, you can always tell the adhesive is really shiny. I'm going to have my pattern right here. And this is going to show me that 17. You know what? I did it backwards. Oh, poo. Okay, so my petals are going to be slightly different form. But this, put this center of this right here. And, whoops, nope. Oh, I know what. I didn't do it wrong. Oh, I just had it upside down. Okay, I thought, well, I did that wrong, but I didn't. Alright, so this is going to be right here. And I'm going to come ahead. Oh, let me move these back into position. Because I know I want this here and this here. And I'm just going to come and give it a quick tap. I don't have to make sure it's perfect because I may want to move it just a touch. Now I come and get piece number 16. And this is going to fit in just like this. So I'm going to peel off the freezer paper. Okay, then I'm going to peel off the back of the heat and bond light. Come on. Alright, yay! Pull off the back of the heat and bond light, and then come in here and lay this right there. Then come and tack this down. Alright, so now I'm going to need another blue here. But if you see, I don't want to cover up the petal. So what I'm going to do is just draw a little line across there. And even if I can't see the pencil, I'll see the little crease that it made. And I'm going to then cut that excess off and come peel off the back of this. Okay, and always cut off enough so that you'll be able to see. Whoops, I don't know if this didn't stick again. That's the only problem about the little applique iron, is it really doesn't have quite the heat to really get this to stick. Never over iron fusible. If you over press it, then the adhesive, instead of sitting on the back like this, all nice and shiny, it will actually absorb into the fabric and it won't hold at all. It won't hold a thing. Okay, now see, I've got this piece right here, but it's a little close to that. I don't see the black line as good as I would like, so I'm just going to pick it up and cut off just a little bit more. And then when I line it up right here, I can see the grout line or the lead line. So now I'm going to come and just tack that, because that was, I wanted to get it just right. And then, whoops, that was my scissors. Okay, so I'm going to have number 15 is going to go right here. I better put 15 on here before I cut my next blue piece because I want to see where 15 is going to go. Okay, let me grab my scissors. Oh. Okay, now where is my baggie for number 3? Okay, I'm going to quickly grab piece 15 and all right. So do the same thing here. First take off the freezer paper, then take off the back paper, and then look at my pattern, which is right here. Look at the pattern to see how they fit. Now, if you wanted to draw all, really exacting on this, then you could. But that's just not the way I really like to work. Now I'm looking at how this one is coming in. And see how it's going across here? I might just iron this down and leave the other one below it. Because see the little peekaboo here? I'm thinking, you decide if you want to pull the other one up and cut it. But this one fits right there, and I think it looks good enough. And that's kind of how I work. I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to this, because to me this is supposed to be fun. So now I've got my next piece. Let me quickly make sure that this is good. Now, and see, this is why whatever shape I still use them, because I'm going to be cutting this to fit in here. Alright, I'm going to straighten out this edge, and then I'm going to bring it up like this, leave enough grout, then bring it here like this. Okay, so there's the piece that I have to put there. I'm going to cut off that pencil line because I've got to leave enough room for the grout. Okay. So cut off the pencil mark so you'll have enough room to leave the black shine through. So it's just, to me this is fun. You might not think it's fun. Everybody has their own style. To me though, this is just like building a puzzle or a little miniature. Okay. Let me fit it. And I've also thought I'm going to go get my sewing tweezers because it'll be so much easier to place these little pieces if I have my tweezers. So there we go. There we've got that. Now, another thing I'm going to do, in fact, I don't want to get too many blue pieces put in too close together because I want to mix up my blues, all my colors, my greens, everything, even my orange edging. I want it to be mixed, a little mixed up. Now, I'm going to have a shorter piece. Number 14 is shorter that goes here. But I'm just going to see. Now, you might think, well, Deb, if you put it like that, then your grout isn't showing. Let me hold on just a second. I want to show you something. But you'll say, well, if you leave it on top like this, then you don't have a grout line right there. Well, then I would just say, I'll come in here with a permanent pen, and now I do. So, it's your style, what you want. Because this I can put in here. Let part of 14, if it wants to overlap, fine. Then just take a permanent pen and draw that little line. So it's pretty much how you're comfortable working. And I'll let you make that decision. But my blue sky part that's going to come through here now, it's going to follow down here. And I just want to make sure I use enough different kind of blues to make it sparkle. just like I did with the greens below. So hopefully, now let me move this stuff out of the way, show you what I'm doing, and see what you think. So, I'm loving this. Before we did a wonderful koi pond, and I want to pull it out and finish. But here is what I've done so far. And like I say, it's not something you can sit in the recliner and do. You kind of have to be at a table. Stay there. Golden Threads paper's acting up. But just, you've got your grid. And I don't always have to stick with the grid. If something moves funny, I just kind of slightly adjust. Because I don't want to make it perfect, because it wouldn't be perfect. Even whether it's a mosaic or stained glass, it most likely wouldn't be absolutely perfect. I don't want it to look like pixels, like a computer did it. Does that make any sense to you? Yeah, I put the colors I wanted on. I did not use Steamacine. I used Heat and Bond Light, because the lady who has the pug dogs, I was telling her about my problem with Steamacine. When I would go to sew across it, my sewing needle would get so gummed up. It was terrible. And so she said, well, try Heat and Bond Light. It has less adhesive. So it works great in this, and then I can sew right through it. Because when I'm finished with this, I'm going to come in at an angle and sew so that every single piece on here has a little bit of sewing on it. Does that make sense? And you can even notice, see right here where it looks like, you know, I really cut out a little piece, put a darker piece, cut out here, put a darker. I just did, in some places I didn't want to waste fabric, so I just put a couple pieces and ironed them right down like that. And but like here I did 2 triangles because I wanted to give that shape up from my pattern. And when I'm working on this, I'm going to show you what's on my computer, because I have to be real careful with this. Let me just, while I bring this up, let me come up to preloaded. Oops. Come on. Oh, let me try to find my, oh, and here's that bracelet I made. I thought I'll wear it today. And it feels, so far, it feels very comfortable. And it kind of goes with the casual summer top I've got on. Alright, so there is my, I found it, yay. So what I want to show you real quick before I go, I think the only new photos were these from Miss Melanie. So I want to show you these real quick before I leave here, because I don't think I have time to do a whole show and tell. But look at these. She does beautiful machine embroidery. That's amazing. So there we go. We covered, and I'm trying to think, did Mary? Yes, I got to show you this from Miss Mary. And look at Miss Mary's birdies on a wire. Isn't that precious? And I love it. She does her own thing too. And she's got 10 birdies on there. And then look at her wonderful flowers down here. So I love it. She's got a Miss Mary style, and it shows through, and she's true to it. So I just love that. Love, love, love. Okay, so that was Miss Monkey Mary. All right, now, and I think those are the only new ones. Let me see. Oops, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm trying to say, did Miss Debbie, no, I think I showed you that. So I will show you these again next week. I just want to make sure Yep, I think we're good for show and tell. Because this mosaic is so much fun. And, alright, so let me come back to main. Alright, so remember then what I did that I found was easier. In fact, you know what? I'm going to move it back down to close-up camera because I just want to make sure you're real clear on it, sweeties. Alright, so here is a hand-drawn because for whatever reason it didn't come out of the printer, so I just got a piece of freezer paper and drew it on myself. But let's look at piece 22 up here. So what I'm going to do is come in here and cut piece 22 out like this. Cut it out here. And that sometimes when I cut these out, I'll give them a little bit of extra shaping. I'll make them a little bit bigger. As long as where they meet, I don't make them bigger. I might make them a little bit longer when it comes out here. That's where, make it your own. Alright, so now I have cut this out, okay? This is piece 22. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on an all yellow. Sometimes I make them partly one color and partly another. But I put it down like that. I iron it on. This is in flower number 4. Then I cut them out and put them in a baggie marked number 4. But like when I'm here, when I know it meets up with another flower, I keep it right on the line. But here, I might just come out and kind of flare out a little bit. Just give it a little extra oomph. And so here I come. Now when I get back down though to where it has to touch another one, I stay right on the line just to make sure. So, and then I take this and somewhere over here I have a bag that's numbered number 4, and I put it in that bag right away. That's flower number 4, so I don't lose it. But that's the benefit of the freezer paper. It has the pattern on it, so I know the size, shape, and number of each of the flower pieces. Then these in here, I know what I was supposed to show you, what I keep on my computer. When I'm doing this, let me, hold on, let me put this down. Okay, whoops, okay, I'm going to come up on my Mosaic folder. Right here, Mosaic Quilt. I bring this up. And if I'm working on, I've kind of copied these 4 flowers right here. I've done a few of these leaves, but I've not copied this completely. My sky background is different, everything. But let's say I'm working on, this is flower number 1, flower number 2, flower number 3, flower number 4. I'm mostly working on 3 right now. So I will make sure that that's right up there so I can see exactly where I place. I look at the color on it to see light and dark and placement. And that's why on this pattern right here, okay, we were just working on flower number 3. Whoops. On this pattern, we're working on flower number 3, and here is 17, 16, and 15, right there. And I looked at the picture to get an idea of where the sunlight's coming from and what colors I should make these. And I want to show you, to really make this look good, here's my baggie number 4. Let me put my piece 22 in it before I lose it. I knew I had it here. Okay. Now, look at how many different colors I'm using for the flowers. And I use a few more than the rest, but I get as many out as I think. Just whatever. If I think I'm going to use a lot, I'll get a big piece. If I think I'm just going to use a little, I'll get a small piece. But now this one, some of these are coming back out to use for my little border squares. So I've got to make sure I separate those again. But, and this one, that's going to be a border square. This one's going to be a... You can see I chose the deeper, stronger colors for my orange border. But I use a little bit of all of these colors to make my petals. And it doesn't take very much. I'm going to have a lot of this left over. I think what I'm going to do is start a container that says Mosaic fabrics, because these are all ready to go. So when I want to make a new one, I will do that. All right, and this also is one of the colors that I use in my border. All right, I hope, let me come back to the main camera, but I have all of these patterns and they all play a part in helping me get things just where I want them to go. So, are there any questions? You can pull twill over it. Oh, yes, you can cover it with tulle, which is a very fine netting, and just stitch down the rows or something, and that will make sure nothing falls off. But somehow it has to be stitched or trapped on there. Oh, well, just take your time. Don't be afraid to rip it off and do it again. You know, you can rip up one of the, if something doesn't look right, rip it off, get a new one, and put it on. Because, believe it or not, just by using little bits of fabric, you're going to have so many. And egg cartons work really good. These are all the background squares. My flower petals come in baggies because I wanted them whole. These all come in little squares. And so this is my paint palette. Think of it as a paint palette. And anytime it doesn't work, you saw, just warm it up with your iron, rip it off, use it again or toss it, and get another one. And so don't be afraid. This is playtime. Remember when you were a kid in art class and you used to cut construction paper and glue it down? That's what this is. And it should be fun. So, yes, and make sure you mark it. The number for the petals, mark it on both sides of the paper so that one falls off, you've got it. Okay, guys? Y'all are all fantastic. I cannot thank you enough for joining me today. And I don't know why this wants to do top chat. I like live chat because I want all of your comments to matter. I do not mark the fabric itself with the number. That fabric has firmly got paper on each side. That's enough, but I don't want anything to show through. And I don't have, all of my friction pins I bought dried up. And I'm not going to spend $4 more for something that's just going to dry up. So I make do. And you know me, I'm way too cheap. So, yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any more questions you have. This has been fun. And what I do is, I don't know which colors I'm exactly going to use for the petals, but I get the range of things that would help me. If I need to go get a lighter one for one of the petals, then I'll get a lighter piece and put some heat and bond on the back and off I go. So, but I just get everything. It really helps me to get everything ready. Now, the petals, the baggies of petals, I have made those in the recliner at night because the freezer paper goes on with a little tiny clover applique iron just fine. And I mark the sides, pop them in the baggie. But when I work with all the little squares, it really helps me to go to a nice, good table workspace and makes the job a lot easier. So, if you have any questions, you email me. I will answer you because, do I have a ruler substitution? Oh, don't worry about class yet. I'm just getting through this week. And I will make sure you have all of that at least a week before your class so that you know you're ready to go and have whatever fabric you need to have cut out. So don't worry. But I will definitely get your rulers for class to you at least a week before. So I think we have 3 weeks, so it'll give me some time. I've got so many irons in the fire. It's like I have to then just break it down to this week I have to do this. All right, everybody. Well, a couple weeks ago I made a big old pot of homemade spaghetti. In fact, Mark and I made it together. It is yummy, and that's what we're having for dinner. And I'm hungry. So I'm going to wish you a great week ahead. I hope you'll give some kind of mosaic. Give it a chance. It is a lot of fun, and I think this one is going to be stunning. So, okay, everybody, I'll see you next Sunday when I should have a whole lot more of this done. And feel free to email me with any questions. Send me pictures if you're having a problem, whatever. I will help you through this. In fact, if you really get hung up, we can do a quick Jitsi where it's a live chat where we just talk to each other and I can show you and answer any questions. So just email me, ask for a Jitsi session with you. I'll be happy to do it. All right, have a great week. Take good care for yourself. Please take care of yourself. There's a lot of stress right now in the world, and we have to take care of us. Because if we don't take care of us, who will? And how can we take care of those others that we love? So have a great week, and I will see you next Sunday.